everyone, welcome to Cook With Me episode 3. We are making pho. It's an Asian dish. It's basically noodles and beef broth. First, you saw me when I put the meat onto the pot, and I let it boil for at least 7 to 10 minutes. One of the reasons that I always open my tap when I'm pouring anything hot, that is just to protect my sink, my pipes. So yeah, and then I am rinsing the meat. I'm using cold water because I'm not trying to cook them. I'm not trying to lose any more flavor. The reason I'm rinsing it is that it doesn't. I want it to be somewhat clear. I haven't mastered the art of it being clear. It's still cloudy, but it's delicious. I'm getting there. I have been advised that for me to get a clear one, I should add egg onto it. It is a one more step from this one. But honestly speaking, if I'm not making a consomme, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I don't mind a cloudy broth, as I believe that it still packs some flavor. But I think next time I will try and make it clear. Because I cook dinner, I struggle with cooking things early because I do want to serve my dinner hot. So me putting the egg onto the broth might mean one more step onto my cooking, and I'm not sure I want to do that. So after I've rinsed my beef, I also washed my pot. Yes, I washed my pot because that thing that was stuck at the bottom, I didn't want it to be there. And then I also realized that some of them were not thoroughly washed. So I washed them because they still had those bloody thing. They're not bloody, man, but um, I don't know what to call them, but I think you guys understand. You'll see it at the end of after this on the calendar what I'm talking about. These ones, they were still parts of the meat that had that. So I put it back onto the stove and I added about 4 liters of water. It is a lot of water. And I also added 1.5 teaspoon of my seeds. It's coriander seeds, cumin seeds, star anise, um rosemary, the wax, and I also added 3 bay leaves, cinnamon stick, dried chilies, and I also add ginger. Also added salt, Himalayan salt. I added 1 full onion. You don't have to cut it because at the end of the day you are going to sieve this. And I also added garlic and I let it cook on low, or not low, let's say medium, for close to 4 hours. And I did end up having to add more water. And I know you guys are going to tell me about electricity. You can do this on fire, you can do this with gas if you want. And if this is something that you are not willing to do, please don't do it. But this is the type of cooking that I love, and I still have the broth in my fridge, which I can just whip up. What we call, I can just make noodles after that and have that with a couple of green leaves. And this is my broth. You can see it's very cloudy, it is not clean, and part of that as well is because I have used beef shin. Beef shin has bone marrow, so I need that collagen on the beef shin, on my bones and all of that. So I don't mind. Broth is very, 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 very healthy for you. Even if you are not doing it with noodles, you can always make this and have it in your fridge and take a cup every day. It is good for the bones, for your immune system, and so try to have this in your house. So I took out the meat, and then I then started. This is much later. I wasn't going to show you guys this cooking down the entire time. No, this is now in the evening. So I started by sieving it. It's a sieve and in a bowl, but then I realized that it wasn't sieving everything, so I ended up using a dishcloth, new one. I normally buy those blue ones so that you can tear like a roll. I don't know if you guys know. I normally buy those and use them, but I don't have them now. So I took one of the dishcloth that I bought from the Asian market, and I used that to sieve this, and it was much better. I think you can see that it was much better. If I was going to do the egg step, this is where I was going to put it on the pot and add the egg and let the egg suck up all the cloudiness, and I was going to get a clear broth. But like I said, I'm happy with the collagen and everything that I am getting from this broth. And then the next one, I've cooked the noodles, you guys saw already. Now I am dishing up. I started with my noodles, and then I cut my beef. Simply, you don't have to complicate anything. So this is my beef shin, a part of beef that I had cooked. I had taken out roast beef. I wanted to save this meat for another dish and then have this with roast beef and but because it's so cold, it did not defrost, guys. So we are eating with the meat that I had made the broth with, of which is fine. And I also added one green chili, and I also added tatsoi. It's a Chinese vegetable or Asian vegetable. I think I did blanch it with you guys. I washed it and blanched it with you guys, and I put it in the freezer. So this is what it looks like after it has been warmed. And then I'm adding my broth, and then I ended up adding a little bit of soy sauce and what we call and a little bit of vinegar. Thank you so much for watching and for coming back. I will see you on my next upload. Bye.